The first fully electric mass production motorcycle is finally here, and nobody could have expected that it would have come from Harley-Davidson. With the brand often perceived as being stuck in its ways, is this the bike to really change perceptions about Harley? We've come to Portland, Oregon for the world launch of the 2020 Harley-Davidson LiveWire to find that out. The answer is yes. While the idea of an electric Harley-Davidson may come as a bolt out of the blue for some, this bike can actually trace its lineage all the way back to 2010 when Project LiveWire, which was the bike that precursed this, actually started development. Now, I actually rode the Project LiveWire bike around the ring roads of Sepang in 2015 and I was blown away by that bike. I couldn't imagine they'd improve upon it, but here today I can easily say Harley have done just that. So the 2020 LiveWire is powered by a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery right here. And underneath that, you'll see a nice shiny piece of metal. That's actually the motor. It's nice and on display, just like Harley likes to do. So power-wise, I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, electric motor won't make much power. This bike produces 76 kilowatts at 0 RPM and is backed by 116 Newton meters of torque. That's all available at that first twist of the throttle, and this thing is a rocket ship. Even in the lowest power setting out of the 4 rider modes you've got, this thing just bursts off the line. Based around a lightweight alloy frame, which is about 6.5 kilos all up, the LiveWire has some great styling characteristics. To me, it's a bit of a naked roadster. If you whacked one of the Milwaukee 8 Big V twins in the frame rails here, it would look just as good. But this is an electric bike, and it is unlike anything Harley or anyone else's, for that matter, has produced before. So I know what you're thinking. It's all good, well and good being an electric bike, but what is the range and how long is it going to take to charge? Well, Harley have worked a lot since Project LiveWire. That bike had a range of about 70 kilometers tops. Top range you can expect out of this bike on a good day is 235 k's in the city, or about 152 if you're combining a bit of highway. To charge it up, so that's a big battery, that 15.5 kilowatt hour battery. If you're charging it over a wall socket, it'll take about 10 hours, I've been told, but the best way to charge it is the DC fast charge system, and it'll take less than an hour to charge it up. If you're going from dead flat, it'll take about an hour. So charging's not really an issue here. Range, also not an issue. So the last thing to talk about is how it rides. And I can say in one word, it's brilliant. It's unlike anything you've ever ridden before. Out on the road, the LiveWire is really, really impressive. Yes, it doesn't have that usual Harley burble or potato sound that we all kind of love, but it's got its own sound. It's a bit different, but you really do learn to love it, especially when you twist the throttle and it gets louder and louder. Handling wise, that Showa suspension is phenomenal. It really is one of the best handling Harleys out there. It's got really good lean angle either side. I believe it's about 45 degrees either way. I never touched the pegs down, and we were really flogging it through this section here, and it was just great fun. One of the things I did notice, however, was it's a bit different when it comes to how the bike responds mid-corner if you need to adjust your throttle. It's not like you have actual engine braking, so it did kind of feel like the bike was slightly unsettled, though that could be just because of the settings not being set up for my personal hefty weight. But in general, when it comes to riding a LiveWire, it was so much fun. It was one of those things that just stuck with me. Instant torque, you have all of the bike's full torque available pretty much straight away. If you put it into the most fun mode, the sport mode, the bike really does haul ass, and it is phenomenal just how quick this thing really is off the line. In the city, nothing's got a chance against it, maybe other than a Tesla. Otherwise, this thing is really fast. Sadly for us Kiwis, we're going to have to wait a little while before we can get our hands on the new LiveWire. Expected arrival date is sometime in the second half of 2020, and pricing is yet to be confirmed, but with the American price set at around $30,000, it's just shy of that actually, we can probably expect to pay somewhere around the $40,000 mark for this bike when it finally arrives in 2020.